Here are the top stories for today, June 7, 2019. The COMELEC's random manual audit shows that the 2019 midterm elections was 99% accurate. President Duterte defends the use of Marawi City's Rehabilitation Fund to finance the pilgrimage of Muslim residents to Mecca. A Japanese importer seeks to buy 100 metric tons of Philippine mangoes to ease overproduction. And a school in Negros Occidental uses non-plastic canteen utensils to promote environmental protection.
Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The manual audit of the 2019 midterm elections revealed on Thursday that the recent polls is 99.99% accurate. The COMELEC Random Manual Audit Committee said the 99% rate is based on the audit conducted on 711 of 715 clustered precincts. This so far is the highest ever recorded in the last 4 nationwide automated polls in the country. The committee noted that the 2019 audit is higher than the 99.97% in the 2013 midterm polls. Meanwhile, Zamboanga Peninsula and Caraga regions have registered 100% accuracy rate. On the other hand, other members of the committee are convinced that the vote counting machines that were utilized in the recently concluded polls are accurate based on the audit they conducted. The 2019 RMA, which was held at the Diamond Hotel in Manila, started on May 15 and ended on Wednesday. The RMA is a manual examination of the ballots to validate the count of the BCMs. The number of election-related violent incidents during the 2019 midterm elections dropped by 55%. PNP spokesperson Bernard Banac said 60 incidents were recorded from January 19 to June 6 this year, as compared to 133 recorded in the 2016 elections. 113 victims were reported for this year's polls, 23 were killed, 46 were injured, while 44 were unharmed. On the other hand, 50 were killed in the previous polls. The PNP leadership attributed the drop in incidents of election violence to preparations as early as July last year. It credited the strict security measures implemented by the PNP and the armed forces in cooperation with other law enforcement agencies and the cooperation of candidates to prevent violence. President Rodrigo Duterte on Thursday asked the Commission on Audit to reconsider its decision to disallow the use of 5 million pesos from the Marawi Rehabilitation Funds to pay for the 2018 Hajj pilgrimage of Muslims to Mecca. In a speech during the Eid al-Fitr celebration in Davao City, President Duterte emphasized the importance of Hajj to Muslims more than anything else. He added there is no prohibition for the diversion of the money. The former Davao City mayor would sponsor Hajj pilgrimages of Davao Muslims who could not afford to go to Mecca for the annual Hajj. The city's sponsorship for poor Muslims to go to Mecca has continued under Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio. In its 2018 report, COA flagged the HUDCC's transfers of 5 million pesos in rehabilitation funds to the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos for the annual Muslim pilgrimage of some evacuees of Marawi. Task Force Bangon Marawi Chair Eduardo Del Rosario asked COA not to disallow the transaction, saying the Hajj pilgrimage is part of the social healing process and overall rehabilitation of Marawi.
So I am asking COA to reconsider ano ba naman yung 5 million. Actually, that 5 million is worth billions in terms of your kind, I said, generosity to finance the poor people na Muslim para makapag-Hajj.
The sincerity of the government in improving basic services in communities are sending communist insurgents and underground supporters back to the folds of the law. Colonel Nolasco Mempin, commander of the Army's 103rd Brigade, said Wednesday the strength of the New People's Army in the Davao region is dwindling since the start of the intensified insurgency campaign in 2016. Mempin said more insurgents and supporters surrendered since last year because of the government's efforts to reach out to the people. He noted how the government, under its whole-of-nation approach, is working on addressing the root causes of insurgency. Mempin said the decrease in the number of NPA members can also be attributed to the Enhanced Comprehensive Localized Integration Program, or ECLIP, which provides livelihood and housing for rebel returnees. He is hoping that the remaining insurgents will decide to return to the folds of the law and lead different lives. Senate President Tito Soto has announced that 3 incoming senators will hold Senate committee chairmanships at the 18th Congress. More on these and other news around the metro from Benj Bondok.
Senate President Vicente Soto III on Thursday revealed the chairmanship of some Senate committees in the upcoming 18th Congress. Soto said Senator-elect Bongo will head the Committee on Health and the Committee on Urban Planning, Housing and Resettlement. Senator-elect Ronald De La Rosa will chair the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs, while Senator-elect Francis Tolentino will lead the Committee on Local Government. Soto said the committee chairmanships for the new Congress have been 95% settled after a dinner meeting with senators Wednesday night. Meanwhile, Malacanang has declared June 24 as a special non-working holiday in the city of Manila in celebration of its 448th founding anniversary. Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea signed the proclamation on June 4 and released it to the media on Thursday. The city of Manila was established on June 24, 1571 by Miguel Lopez de Legazpi, the first Governor-General of the Philippines under the Spanish colonial rule. Manila was established as the Philippines' capital city on June 24, 1976 by a presidential order. In other news, commuters who will take the MRT3 and LRT1 will be given free rides in celebration of Independence Day on June 12. The free rides will be available between 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. The country is celebrating the 121st anniversary of the Proclamation of Philippine Independence. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondok.
Still to come, Morocco announces a reduction in power rates this June. A Japanese importer seeks to buy 100 metric tons of Philippine mangoes to ease overproduction. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Ito ang Duterte on Duty. Ulat sa ginagawa ng Presidente.
May 13, Lunes. Bumoto sa Davao si Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte para sa 2019 midterm election. May 21, Martes, Malacanang. Mainit na sinalubong ng Pangulo ang bagong talagang ambasador ng Thailand sa Pilipinas na si Ambassador Vasin Ruang Pratip Saeng at tinanggap ang credentials nito. Nag-courtesy call din sa kanya ang mga opisyal ng Toyota Dealers Association of the Philippines. May 26, Linggo, Baguio City. Pinangunahan ng Commander-in-Chief ang commencement exercises ng PMA Mabalasi Class of 2019 at pinaalalahanan ang mga bagong military officers.
Be a good soldier who will serve the Constitution, protect the people, secure our sovereignty, and preserve the integrity of our national territory. Serve your country well. Die for your country if needs be. Remember the young Filipinos yet to come, the children and those who are now studying. Huwag mong kalimutan ninyo yan.
Ako po si Secretary Martin Andanar at ito ang Duterte on Duty. Abangan sa susunod na linggo ang mga gagawin ng Pangulo.
Meralco has announced on Thursday that it is reducing power rates by 19 centavos per kilowatt hour this June. The rate drop is brought by the 13 centavo reduction in the generation charge and the lower price at the spot market. This is equivalent to 38 pesos for households consuming 200 kilowatt hours monthly. Meralco spokesperson Joe Zaldariaga said power rates have so far dropped by 50 centavos per kilowatt hour in the past 2 months. Monetary officials downplayed the 3.2% inflation rate posted by the Philippines in May, calling the marginal rise as temporary. Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Governor Benjamin Diokno said on Thursday that this development does not indicate a turnaround from its downward trajectory in the last 6 months. He reiterated that actual inflation rates last May is within the central bank's 2.8 to 3.6% forecast. He said the BSP expects inflation to be within 2% in the third quarter of 2019 and within 3% in until 2020, alongside the easing of world oil prices. The sustained slowdown of inflation in the past months gave the BSP leeway to cut by 25 basis points the central bank's key policy rates last May 9 after the total of 175 basis points increase in 2018. BSP Deputy Governor Diwa Gunigundo said the dry condition affected the prices of food items like fish, fruits, and vegetables last May, while other contributors are higher utility rates as well as housing. He pointed out that drivers of the faster inflation rate remain supply side and therefore generally temporary. A Japanese fruit importing company is buying 100 metric tons of mango from the Philippines. Diamond Star Agro Products Incorporated, which has been importing assorted produce exclusively from the Philippines, signified the intent to buy a high volume of mangoes through Philippine Agriculture Attaché to Japan, Dr. Samuel Animas, this week. Agricultural Secretary Manny Piñol said Diamond Star officials are expected to join the launching of the Metro Mango Marketing Program on Monday in Manila. The program was established specifically to help farmers unload their harvest following a season of overproduction. Piñol said he will arrange a meeting between the Japanese fruit importers who will be coming to the Philippines and mango farmers of Luzon. Mango production increased this season with an estimated surplus harvest of 2 million kilos due to the El Niño phenomenon. DSWD Secretary Rolando Bautista says he is willing to accept the apology of radio personality Erwin Tulfo under certain conditions. In a statement on Friday, Bautista told Tulfo to issue a public apology on major broadsheets, social media platforms, and radio stations. Bautista also wants Tulfo to donate 300,000 pesos each to at least 19 military organizations that the former army chief represents. Bautista spoke on the issue for the first time over a week after Tulfo threw a tantrum and insulted him for begging off from an on-air interview. Tulfo was widely criticized by the military and police for his remarks. His outburst also partly caused the pullout of the security escorts issued to him and his brothers. Earlier on Friday, the PNP ordered Tulfo to surrender his firearms following the expiration of his license to own and possess firearms last May. A 4-classroom school building burned down in Talitay, Maguindanao on Thursday afternoon. The fire at the school building of the Pagyeda Elementary School happened just as the students had finished their classes for the day. Fire investigators are looking into faulty electrical connections as the cause of the fire, although police are investigating possible arson. The school has some 200 elementary students sharing 2 4-classroom single-story buildings. Local school officials are planning to build makeshift classrooms at an empty lot beside the said school. 2 farmers in Benguet are reportedly killed on Wednesday due to suspected gas poisoning. Police have blamed toxic fumes detected from a mining facility. More on these and other news from the provinces from Janice Cabe.
2 farmers allegedly died of gas poisoning in Itogon, Benguet. The victims, identified as Flores Esnada Lampacan and Larson Ambros Lampacan, were found on Wednesday in an abandoned impounding box of a small-scale gold processing area in Gold River, Luwakan Town. The two men reportedly went down the box sometime June 2 or June 3 to check and clean it. Police are investigating if foul play is involved. In Cebu City, Governor-elect Gwendolyn Garcia asked the outgoing administration of Governor Hilario Davide III to move the turnover of the provincial capital's executive department earlier to June 27. Garcia's camp made a request for them to have ample time and make it easier to review documents at the capital, which are subject of the turnover. Davide's camp is yet to confirm if it agrees with the proposal. In Zamboanga del Sur, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources called on the public, especially riverbank dwellers, to stop throwing their garbage into rivers. During the World Environment Day celebration on Thursday in San Pablo Town, DENR Assistant Regional Director Tito Gadon said these wastes affect the marine ecosystem as they pollute the sea. Gadon said saving the environment depends on the contribution of the people in their respective localities. In line with World Environment Day, the DENR led a cleanup drive and planting of mangrove propagules. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Up next, a former Army captain publishes a book on rescue of Gracia Burnham and other captives of the Abu Sayyaf. A school in Negros Occidental uses non-plastic canteen utensils to promote environmental protection. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
This is Second Valley Martin and another, and you're watching.
A former Army Captain, Oliver Almonares, launched his book on Wednesday detailing the rescue of Abu Sayyaf captives in 2002. Former Army Captain Oliver Almonares, then commanding officer of the 15th Scout Ranger Company Special Operations Command, led the operations to rescue the hostages from the bandits. Among them was famous American missionary Gracia Burnham, who was captured with her husband Martin by the Abu Sayyaf for more than a year. The book, entitled The Rescue, God's Amazing Grace, highlights Almonares' military operations, his spiritual transformation, and the friendship between Almonares and Burnham. Almonares attributed his book to his fellow Scout Rangers. He noted the importance of the connection to God in the life of every soldier. The Rescue, God's Amazing Grace is sold at the Registrar Office of Duane Baptist Church in Iloilo City. Part of the proceeds will be donated to Silent Ranks Foundation, which helps wounded soldiers. And in our foreign news, Pope Francis will receive Russian President Vladimir Putin at the Vatican on July 4, according to a statement by Vatican spokesman Alessandro Ghisotti. The Kremlin earlier confirmed that Putin was expected to make a visit to Italy, a meeting that may pave the way for a historical papal visit to Russia. The meeting also comes at a time of improving relations between the Vatican and the world's Orthodox churches. In November 2018, Russian presidential spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the date of Putin's visit to Italy would be agreed on through diplomatic channels. He pointed out that the invitation for the Russian leader to visit Italy had been mentioned during Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte's visit to Russia on October 24, 2018. In sports, former World Taekwondo Pumse champion Jordan Dominguez is eyeing a medal in the 2019 World Taekwondo Grand Prix today, June 7, in Rome, Italy. Dominguez, who won a bronze in the 2018 Asian Games in Indonesia, said only the world's top 8 players were invited to the tournament in the Eternal City, of which he is the 5th ranked. Dominguez will face top-ranked Tae Ju Na of South Korea, Lin Yu Han of Taiwan, Din Kul Nguyen of Vietnam, German Lucas Stein, Russian Mikhail Pustovit, Abdurrahman Darwin of Indonesia, and Michael Bush of Canada, the youngest at 19. This year's event will be the first time that the demonstration or form competent of Taekwondo will be included in the Grand Prix, according to World Taekwondo Federation President Chung Won Chok. He said the Grand Prix series has rapidly become Taekwondo's Premier League tournament series for Olympic-level combat Taekwondo athletes and has raised standards of the sport. The sincerity of the government in improving basic services in communities are sending communist insurgents and underground supporters back to the folds of the law, an army official said. More on this from Janice Cabe.
Mugs made of bamboo, bowls from coconut shells, and plates from banana leaves. These are the new utensils being used at the canteen of Bulata National High School in Kawayan, Negros Occidental, as it provides meals for its more than 400 students and teachers. The concept is inspired by the Wala Usik or No Waste Sari-Sari store, an initiative of the Philippine Reef and Rainforest Conservation Foundation Incorporated through its Sea Waste Education to Eradicate Plastic Program or SWEEP. BNHS Principal Igit Duler Yap gained inspiration to make the school canteen plastic-free after attending the Danhugan Islands Marine and Wildlife Camp last summer. Yap, who took over as school head this year, recognized the threat posed by plastic pollution, noting that single-use plastic causes problems to the environment and public health among schools nationwide. The BNHS Wala Usik canteen features walls painted with colorful marine life with the theme More Fish, Not Plastic, done by volunteers from the Association of Negros Artists. For now, YAP is seeking additional support from stakeholders to make the school canteen fully operational. The canteen will be managed by the school's Teachers League Association and will also be used for the school-based feeding program. Dave Albao, Executive Director of PRRCFI, said they are honored to be a longtime partner of BNHS. In April, the PRRCFI also launched a Wala Usik Sari-Sari store in Barangay Bulata, which is one of the 8 operating in Negros Island. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
And we are still far from welcoming the rainy season. However, expect a few rain showers this coming weekend as the Intertropical Conversion Zone or ITCZ and the easterly winds affect Luzon. Meanwhile, let's check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. And here's another look at today's biggest stories.
The COMELEC's random manual audit shows that the 2019 midterm elections was 99% accurate. President Duterte defends the use of Marawi City's Rehabilitation Fund to finance the pilgrimage of Muslim residents to Mecca. A Japanese importer seeks to buy 100 metric tons of Philippine mangoes to ease overproduction. And a school in Negros Occidental uses non-plastic canteen utensils to promote environmental protection.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And with the celebration of Independence Day coming around next week, let us all show and celebrate our patriotism by being proud of our country and showing our flags in our homes and everywhere that we can. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I am William Theo. Good day.